What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Heard You, Beloved podcast. This is a special episode. I'm doing this like a side episode type deal because y'all know my schedule is to do new episodes and release them every 2 weeks, every 2 Sundays. But this topic that I'm about to address has been on my heart and on my mind for some time now. And just last night, I had an incident or a situation where it just reminded me that I want to address this, right? So I hope y'all good. And again, thank you for tuning in and all the love with the first 2 episodes. Well, the first 2 official episodes. Keep on showing me love. Keep liking the content. Keep sharing. Keep commenting. And we're going to keep it going. So the word of the day is distortion. And the dictionary, the official definition of distortion as a verb is to give a false, perverted, or disproportionate meaning to, or misrepresentation. In the Urban Dictionary definition is not the whole, only a portion of what is real, a piece missing or out of place, blurred. Right, so the topic of the day obviously is distortion. And when I say distortion, I mean having a distorted sense of reality. Right? And I know I mentioned that last night I had a incident or a situation where it reminded me that I wanted to address this. So let me get into that real quick. So last night, let me back up. So for you guys who know me on a personal tip, you should know clearly and be fully aware by now that I am residing in a homeless shelter. I've been in a shelter system since June of 2019. The reason I'm in this situation is not really important, but I just want to point that out from the jump. It's been over 3.5 years of me being in this predicament. And I've seen some things. I've experienced some things. I'm experiencing and being around some of the, how do I explain this? Human beings and spirits that are at the bottom, at the lowest of lows in many ways. Right? I'm experiencing and seeing people who are mentally ill, people who have diagnoses, people who are mentally ill by way of experience, people who are physically ill. May that be it, they're deteriorating physically. They may have a disability. Walker, can't walk. Different parts of their bodies are eroding, like and things of that nature. People in walkers, people in wheelchairs, people who have substance abuse issues, alcoholics, drug addicts, like certified drug addicts. I don't mean, just cocaine, just synthetic marijuana, K2. I mean heroin. I mean cocaine. I mean people who are on pills, people who smoke whatever they can find to run away from reality. People who, from the moment that they wake up, are injecting something so that they're not sober and are facing reality or being productive members of society, right? These are the kind of people that I'm dealing with and I'm experiencing on a day-to-day basis and have been for the past 3.5 years. So imagine that, right? And actually, let me get back to explaining the situation last night. So where I'm located at, it's a shared living space. It's a congregate facility, I think the term is, right? It's 250 to 300 bodies or beds in that facility in the Bronx. For any given room, there's between 8 to 12 men per room. So just think about that. Locker, bed, locker, bed, locker, bed, locker, bed, locker, bed, locker, bed. Right? And the room I'm in, I have seniority in that room. I've been there since after the pandemic. Right, because here in New York City, what happened was when the pandemic happened, when they shut down the whole city or the world, people were pulled from these facilities and put into hotels for safety reasons to allow social distancing, right? People were put in 1 to 2 man hotel rooms so that people who are in these kind of facilities, homeless shelters, senior citizen places, psych wards, mental institutions, hospice institutions, things like that. So they're not, in confined spaces and close to each other because of the virus, right? So once the shutdown happened, funds and monies was put to put people in hotels for safety reasons. Once the world started opening back up, they reversed that situation and pulled these contracts of having people in hotels just for the sake of the pandemic and that virus. So I was in a predicament where I was put into a hotel situation. I had my own room in the facility, in the situation. And once these contracts and those funds were canceled out and the mayor decided to cancel this program, they reverted back to putting everybody who are in the shelter system back into congregate facilities, right? So I've been here since, I want to say, probably May, June of last year. I think it was right around before the summertime, I believe. And at this facility, this is the second room I'm in. The initial room I was there from the time I got there until February of this year. And I was moved to this new room because they try to implement this new rule to where the first floor is specifically designed for people who are disabled, people who are on wheelchairs, and people who have special needs. And on the second floor is for able-bodied people, right? People who are physically able to walk and don't need anything special and just are relatively normal physically, right? So I've been in this room since February, and I've seen a lot of different people come and go, obviously. There's been a lot of people who are mentally off that have come in the room, obviously. And now, as of this week, I want to say they put this drug addict, I'm going to just put it that way, I call him a crackhead, in this room. He's in bed 8, and that bed is right next to the door. One, he is disgusting. He's dirty. His space, his bed and everything, it's clothes everywhere. There's old food sitting around. There's milk cartons sitting around his locker, and just there's a weird stench coming from him because he doesn't maintain or his hygiene or his area space, right? In addition to that, he uses a walker and a cane. His back, it looked like he has scoliosis or something. Like if you see his back, like there's a curvature in his back. And he uses drugs. I don't know if it's K2. I don't know if it's crack. I don't know if it's heroin. But you can just tell by his demeanor. You know when you see a crackhead or somebody that's not in their same mind, how they have this talk like this and they walk funny and they move funny and they're real erratic and they have that voice. That's this man. Right? So every night for the past, I would say 5 nights, once the light goes out, you can see him flicking the lighter to light something up. I don't know if he's lighting up like a spoon or something to shoot up with or something. But it's the same routine, the same pattern with this man. He does that. He injects his bullshit, his BS, pardon my French. And then within minutes, he'll start his routine of getting up, slapping himself, making weird noises, just wilding out after having smoked or done whatever he do, right? He does that from the time the lights go out, let me say 11:30 at night, all the way through to the morning time. So in that corner, you can see and hear this man walking around, dancing, playing with his phone, slapping his body, doing this, making all kind of crazy noises, talking to himself, cursing. Sometimes he'll just fall out. And I don't want to do this, but I'm gonna put a picture right here so y'all can see how I flashed him one day when he just like went out before he came back in, like he went out of his consciousness, like he was leaning on the bed, standing up like this, sleep. Right? So me, I'm a light sleeper. Moving on, right? Any little thing, any small sound, I'll wake up. So imagine you trying to get to sleep at midnight, 12:30, 1 a.m., and you got a motherfucker in the corner wilding out. And as the night goes on, he gets louder and louder and more erratic and doing more random stuff, right? So me, I go up to this man, and the funny thing is that he's so strung out on whatever he on that he has no self-awareness. I remember one night I walked up to the bed, up to his bed. He's still going through his motions, and I'm just standing there for like a good 15, 20 seconds, and I snapped. I went like this to catch his attention. Yo, I barked on him. Like, what are you doing? Why you keep doing this random shit? Like, what is all this weird noises you making? You making people uncomfortable, bro. People cannot sleep with this noise that you making. Oh, my fault, Papi. He's Hispanic. I'm sorry, Papi. I'm trying to go to sleep. I'm gonna go to sleep right now. I'm gonna clean my bed. And I blacked on him like, bruh, you keep doing this. You on drugs. If I have to come at you again or get up out of my sleep and walk over here, we're gonna have an issue, bro. If you're gonna do this, take this in the bathroom, bro. You being disrespectful because you're not being respectful of other people, man. People working this shit, right? Pardon my friends, because you know I try to not to curse on here. So the first night he ran out the room and stayed in the bathroom and did his thing. You can still hear him making his weird noises or what have you. And he came back to the room when lights came back on at 6 a.m, because that's the time they start, making people wake up. And he's been doing this every night for the past several nights. Last night, actually no, 2 nights ago, he did the same thing, but I wasn't the only person that approached him about it. The person who's literally across from him, so there's a walkway down the middle of the room, and it's bed, locker, bed that way, right? So the person, his bed is here to the left, the other person is on the right, so he's literally across, everybody's across from each other. The brother in the corner got up and said, yo, bro, you setting yourself up for failure. And he pointed to me and said, yo, bro in the corner done came to you and said something to you several times. And he does this every night. Yo, go to sleep. Get your ass in the bed. Him, okay, Poppy. That same night after the old head addressed this man, I had to get up and do it again, right? And the next day, yesterday, first thing in the morning, 6:30, 7 o'clock, I went downstairs, made a complaint. Because now I'm bringing it up to the RAs. I'm making these people do their jobs. And I have been telling the RAs, the residential aides, I think their position is called, the people who come to the rooms and actually work there, not the security guards. Yo, tell this man to clean this area, and he being here bugging out, he does not need to be in his room. Pack him up and get him out. They always make up a lie and excuse because these people don't do their job. Yeah, E, we got you. Don't worry about it. After we do the count, blah, 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 we gonna do it. They never show up. They just might walk in the room, look over there, walk out and laugh type situation. They don't care. Right? So yesterday morning, I made the complaint. They claim that when the supervisor come in, they're going to come do something about it. I don't know if it happened because by 10 a.m., I'm out the facility. I don't get there until about 11 p.m. at night when it's curfew time. I don't stay there. I don't associate with nobody in there, and I stay in my lane. It's like I'm never there. It's just a place I go to rest my head at night and sleep type situation. I don't eat the food there, none of that. Last night, I made a complaint to the front desk. I had to get up out my bed, go downstairs, and I video recorded them for a good 2 minutes. Him over there wilding out, bugging out, making his noises or what have you. Right? Dude told me the same BS. Oh, when the supervisor come in, we gonna pack him up immediately. Cause yeah, we understand that people are employed, blah, blah, blah. And there's a lot of crazy people, whatever he said to me, man. Nothing happened. I woke up, this man is still in the room. Over there cursing up a storm and what have you. And moving along to the point of the video, or the topic of the day, which is distortion, right? Having a distorted sense of reality. And the last example I'm going to use with this guy is he's so far gone and institutionalized that everything about him, his vibe, his energy, the words he speak, his aura is just negativity and toxicity. Right? There's another gentleman, he kind of looked like he a crackhead too. He real skinny and looks sick. Is in a room and they became like friends. They talk about the same bull every day. Last night, they was in there going back and forth, kiki and talking about some. If we was in Puerto Rico talking in Spanish, they know I'm Honduran or what have you. So they think they being slick talking shit. But I picked up on game. If we was in Puerto Rico or DR, people get killed for minding other people's business. People go missing. Whatever. And then this is the same kind of conversation they have. Everything they talk about is negativity. They did their little back and forth. And when the other dude that I'm talking about now, who was talking with this leprechaun, that's what I call him. He looked over at me and I looked over at him. He lowered his voice and he told the leprechaun, yo, like, let's lower our voice. Because I already addressed him a couple of times too, this other skinny, sick-looking person. Because he'll randomly start playing his music through speakerphone at random times of the night. Early in the morning when he get up, he playing his music. He talk real loud. I'm like, bro, be more self-aware and respectful of this space, man. Tone it down or pipe down. If you're going to be on the phone or something, go in the hallway. Why are you screaming, talking to a man that's literally across from you? You deaf? Is something wrong with you? I'm sorry, Poppy. Right? So this is the kind of conversations they have. There's always something negative. Oh, this person did that. Somebody stole my money. Oh, I want to hurt this person. Just last night, the skinny dude talking about somebody put a bike chain on their hand and bopped him in his grill. That's why his eye's swollen. Or he got a blue eye. So imagine that toxicity, man. And like I was saying, distorted sense of reality. How is it? I'm not even curious to want to know the answer, but I can only imagine what it's like to wake up on earth in this world and you do things or operate from a place where you're not here. You're not where the average person is at. And your mind and way of thinking is so distorted that it's disgusting. Like, it's a sad thing to see. But I can only imagine what that's like. Right? Because for me, I'll use myself as an example. During the pandemic, the height of the pandemic, when people were being told not to go outside, to stay indoors, I refused to do that because, again, I do not associate with this thing, this shelter system. So what I would do is I'll be on trains in the train station. Whoa, speak English, E. I'll be in the train stations, on platforms or different stations, all the way in the cut at the back to where I'm not necessarily near people. Drinking, when I had that drinking problem that I spoke of in episode 2. Be in a group chat with my bros to where things are cool and collective initially, but as I start drinking more and as I start getting in my emotions and being erratic, that distortion happens, right? Or the noise of anger and all this negativity and toxicity starts to come up. And I would get into it with them about BS. And start pointing fingers and just being nasty, right? But my distortion of reality was the fact that for years, for months, for weeks at a time, I spent so much time alone, not speaking to people or seeing people or doing normal things every day. Like a pattern of maybe you go to work, you go to school, you're around your friends, you're around your family, you talk to your girlfriend, you talk to your best friend, you do this, you do that, you have activities, you go to the bar, you go out to eat. All that was pulled away from me, partly because of this situation, and in addition to, like I spoke up in episode 2, me distancing myself because I'm feeling like I'm not in the right headspace to be around people. And I'm more of a magnet of sucking up energy and being a negative dark cloud, if that makes sense. Right? So, distortion of reality. So for y'all, when you see or have family members or friends that you know that they're going through something, or they're not themselves, and they're operating from a place of not making sense, you seeing them be different. However, they are surrounded by something that has them being off. Like, how do you deal with that? Do you go out of your way to help this person? Do you go out your way to try and intervene? Do you go out of your way and show up for that person no matter if they're not being themselves? Or do you pray for them? Do you pull away and tell yourself, out of love for this person, I can't do this? They have to get through this on their own. I pray that God, you know, hones in on them or holds them and protects them and doesn't allow them to be harmed in any way. But them figure it out on their own. Like, how do you deal with that? Because the second part to that question is, if you know a person has, a mental condition, let me put it that way, how they see and experience the world is not normal, or how a person with a sane mind experiences the world. How do you deal with that? I'm sure it's tough. It is hard. Because when it comes to family and friends, people you hold dear to your heart, you want to be there for them, but it's too much. It's too much. And more often than not, people are not equipped with knowing how to deal with that. Oh, my energy just shifted, right? It's rough. It's rough. For me, being the person that I am, what I do is I try to show up for this person or a person if they were in that predicament. Because I've had probably 2 instances or 3 instances of people who are close friends, my best friends at that, close friends, go through mental health crises in the last 3 years. One, they don't even live in New York, but I did what I can to show up for that person by way of text messaging. Not so much calling, right? Because you don't want to harass anybody or just be in their face anytime. But text messages, sending text messages saying, I love you, I'm here for you, things of that nature, right? Sending them pictures of us smiling and laughing, videos, just reminding them that, yes, you have people who love you and care for you and are not necessarily throwing your situation in your face to say there's something wrong with you, right? Versus there's people who are saying, I got you. When you're ready, when you're able, I'm here. It's not a problem. This is life. Because of the fact that I love you, I got you. And I'm going to keep looking out for you and reaching out. Whenever you are able, pick up that call. Come see me, or I'm going to come see you. And the other person who lives here in New York, that's what I did. When they were dealing with their situation, I would show up to their house. And just be there as if everything was just the same, because to me it's the same thing. It's just like I said at the end of or in episode 2, for example, if I'm going through something, a simple text message or call or a check-in from people that are close to me, just asking, yo, E, you good? Which in many ways is can start a conversation, but that's how we talk to each other, right? For me, with this person, I would show up to the house more frequently than usual, just to sit there. Or if we're playing a game, we're playing a game. If we're talking, we're talking. If we're just sitting there watching TV or a movie, we'll do that. But I would try and check in and pull certain things from them just to see where they're at mentally. And me, obviously, I'm observing and things of that nature and using my, how do I put, I don't want to say clinical, my clinical eye, but that social work, case management, healer's lens, and just observing their behavior, how they're speaking, all the above type thing, right? But me framing conversations in where I'm asking them, how are you dealing with this? Right? I notice that this family member, this person that's close to you, mentioned XYZ, and me, being I'm close to you and I see you and I'm familiar with you, I notice the same. What changed? What's going on? What is going on in your head? Like these kind of conversations, but not directly asking them that like that way, but framing a conversation to where I'm pulling, trying to put pieces to the puzzle, and not point fingers, but again, have conversation or check in with them and just remind them again, love you, I'm here for you, I got you. And I like to think that having a person like that, a spirit like that in your vicinity, in your space, in your world, in your circle, it helps heal you and it helps ground you no matter what you're going through. And I think that I'm that for some people. Even with what I'm going through right now with this shelter situation, my spirit, who I am, my calling, my energy is always the same. I have not changed in that aspect. I'm me. And I show up for the people who I care about and people who show up for me. Right? Wow. You know what's funny is how back when I started in youth development, I would say probably in like 2010, 2 years in, I said to some of my coworkers back then that I wanted to do this social experiment of some sorts to where I go out in public and try and interview homeless people that I see in the streets and ask them, how did you get here? What happened? And what are you doing to get back to normal, to yourself? I never got to do that experiment, but in many ways, it's kind of happening now. It's coming to fruition, but in a different lens because I'm not necessarily talking to these people, but they're in my vicinity. And by way of me listening, because I'm always listening, I know I don't talk a lot. By way of me listening, observing, and because of what's in my vicinity, it came to me. It's just funny and weird. Yeah. And I'm gonna try to wrap this up. But yeah, when you, in terms of distortion, or when you're seeing people dealing with having a distortion of reality, my suggestion is be patient with them and for them because they need that. They need that. Be compassionate. Be compassionate. Make sure you're checking your emotion when you're dealing with these people or showing up for them. Let me put it that way. That's a more positive way to say it. Make sure you are checking your emotion and not internalizing or personalizing how you're experiencing them or how they're reacting to you based off of what's happening here. Here. with them. Because you know, this is not you. This is not that person. There's just something right here that has them tied up in something that has them moving differently. Be compassionate and check your energy and show up for them in love. Right? And give people grace. It's not personal. Right? What they're going to is not something personal that they're so choosing to do or act differently and in a negative way or what have you towards other people. It's just they're going through something. Give them grace. Know that things happen in life. Don't break them down. Don't shut them down. Don't drag them to the ground. Don't step on them while they're down. Be there for them. Show up. Pray for them. And remind them that they are loved. Right? But for people who are not family and friends, you still got to give people grace. And be patient. Be patient. Yeah. This was kind of heavy. Yeah, my energy definitely shifted. I could see it in the video. I'm looking at myself. My energy shifted. But yeah, man. I hope y'all enjoy this episode, this special episode. But I just had to get this off my chest. It was in my mind. It was kind of bothering me because, again, this incident or situation happened last night. And it was right there, right in your face. But I hope y'all enjoyed this. Leave me some comments. Let me know if you've ever dealt with people who had a distorted sense of reality. Was dealing with a crisis that had them acting differently. Or if you ever been in that position where you ain't here. That brain is shaking. There's something on you. Something real dark on you that got you acting different. And you just moving in the world as you not being you. Let me know in the comments how you overcame that. Or how you showed up for the people who needed you during their rough times. And on that note, it's a wrap. Thank you for listening to the Heard You Beloved podcast. And I hope you enjoy this and you comment and share this with the world, because I'm building. We're growing. We're growing, baby. We are growing. And on that note, I'm out. Peace.